Bonjour YouTube, welcome back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about Zibai teams. So I made a video recently about her combos and a few showcases, but I didn't really go too into details about her teams and etc. and the different DPSs. So today I'm going to go over this a little bit more. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if you can, and let's get into it. So first, best Zibai team is definitely going to be Columbina, Gorou, and Illuga, especially if you have C6 Illuga, C6 Gorou, and you max out her talents, etc. It's going to be the best DPS. Now, if you don't have constellations on Illuga and Gorou, it's not the end of the world. As you can see here, I'm going to show you the first team is going to be her best team. You can reach 160 DPS, 175 DPS, 75k DPS with this team without C6 Illuga. I'm currently on R1 Bina, C3 Illuga, and then in terms of set, Columbina is on Obeyed or maybe even SMS here. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. I'll show it on screen if to confirm. But yeah, I'm with this team. I can get 175 with R1 Bina, R1 Zibai, and then the rest of the team is just like normal. Gorou is not even crowned. He's on level 11 skill, I think, so he's not even max talent. And Illuga is on level 13 burst. He's on C3 right now, so this is almost the maximum buff he can get before C6. And yeah, you can get a pretty decent amount of DPS between 160, 175 depending what weapons you have and constellations you have. With C6 Illuga, I can probably reach 180k with R1 Bina or 170k with Favonius on Bina. So it's a really good amount of DPS. It's slightly under Nefer team if you go with R1 Nefer, R1 Bina, and R1 Lauma. The issue with those setups and with the R1 weapons on most characters is that the energy recharge requirement is going to be a bit tricky in Stygian Onslaught, especially if you don't have this Abyss boss anymore. So you got to keep that in mind. Here my Bina is going to run ER Sands if I'm going with her signature weapon. Even if the signature weapon gives a bit of energy back, it's not really as good as just having an ER weapon like Favonius or even Prototype Ember. So I would always recommend going ER Sands, except for Lauma. Lauma, you really want to get as much EM as possible, but for Bina, you can definitely go with an ER Sands if you're going with her signature weapon. And then after that, there's honestly probably the second best team of Zibai, or at least very competitive with her other teams, is going to be Columbina, Ineffa, Xilonen. So right now on my account, unfortunately, I have C2 Xilonen, so it's not 100% accurate, like super F2P friendly, perfect showcase. But C2 Xilonen doesn't really do a whole lot in this team, gives a bit more geo damage bonus for Zibai, but it doesn't affect the lunar damage bonus, and it gives a bit more HP to Bina, which is nice, especially if I'm going ER Sands on Bina. But you can reach about 160, 165k DPS as well with this team, but this is C2 Xilonen here, so it's probably a bit lower without the C2. So it's a very solid DPS with R0 on everyone, and it flows very well. You don't need that much energy on your characters. It's pretty smooth, especially if you're going Favge on everyone like I'm doing here. You can probably get a bit more damage if you're going with some better weapons, especially for Ineffa, but overall it's basically what you're gonna get approximately. Now, when you go with a signature weapon on Ineffa and Columbina, this team really skyrockets though. I'm able to reach 190k DPS as soon as I switch to their signature weapon, so it's a really big increase of DPS. Ineffa's weapon for Lunar Charge teams and for Lunar Charge in general is really insane, so it's kind of game changing. And as you can see here, like the DPS is freaking crazy. But keep in mind that it's still C2 Xilonen, so with C0 you will lose a bit of damage. Now, why is this team good? First, because Ineffa and Columbina is kind of crazy, like it's really freaking good. It can carry, like, I mean, we call it the Binefa wheelchair for a reason. Like, it's really freaking good. It deals a lot of damage, and it's really easy to build. There's almost no combo or gameplay like to do with this. Like, you just skill burst and then move on. It's passive damage that applies like non-stop. It's not as good for Zibai's personal damage. As you can see here, she's going to deal more like 50-60% of the team's DPS, and then the rest is going to be split between Ineffa and Bina, where in her personal team it's going to be more 70-75% of the DPS. So it's not really like a Zibai team. Like you could replace Zibai almost in this team, put Sucrose, and it would be almost the same amount of DPS. So it's not really a Zibai team, but yeah, it just goes to show that Ineffa is going to be game breaking for almost every character and every team. And then after this, honestly, as I said in my previous video, I didn't really showcase exactly like the DPS of every team, but I'll try to do it here. But as I said in my previous video, like all the teams' DPS after that are basically close to each other. It's going to be between 150, 160, 170k DPS. When you put Chiori in the team instead of Gorou, she can be a bit better than Gorou, honestly, because especially if you have her signature weapon, it's really good. And then you can put Zhongli. It's going to be probably the worst, honestly, with Zhongli, but it's the most comfortable, especially if you're running Harbinger of Dawn. And yeah, honestly, that's basically it. Like, it was just a quick video about Zibai teams. Not really a lot of things to say. In terms of combos, as I said in my previous video, as Jeff said in his recent video as well, there's not a lot of like the DPS between every combo of Zibai is not going to be really that different. It's going to depend on the situation, but if you just do 4 normal attack skill every time, use your burst when you have it, it's basically going to be the average DPS, and it's not going to be a big difference compared to anything else. Also, keep in mind that in all these DPS showcases of all the teams, my Zibai is going to be on R1. I'm not going to do a F2P showcase, but just to give you an approximation, with C0R0 Zibai, without C6 Illuga, and without any weapons on anyone, without R1, I was able to clear fearless difficulty of the Abyss boss on viewer's account with C0R0 Harbinger Zibai, and as I said, no consolation on Illuga. I mean, it was like C3 maybe? C1, I think Illuga, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was not like insane investment. It was really close, but she can dish out like 140, 150k DPS with F2P setup quite comfortably. And then yeah, in most of her teams with 120, 130 energy recharge, you will be comfortable and will be able to burst every rotation. In my triple Fav Columbina, Ineffa, Xilonen team, I almost don't need any energy, to be fair, because like I get so much from the Favonius. But if you're a little bit lower on energy, it can be comfortable. And yeah, like just getting a bit of energy on Zibai is kind of nice to be able to burst every rotation. But once again, her burst is really a small part of her DPS. It just helps for like good rotations, and then also her rotations are pretty fast in general. So if you don't use her burst, you might be a bit early when you swap on Columbina or Ineffa, so it can help have like a more coherent rotation. And yeah, honestly, that's basically it. It was just a short video to talk about Zibai teams. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.